Plaintiff Kathy Thurman was a drug addict for 20 years, and she says she was forced to sell crack so she could keep her drug of choice, heroin. Kathy admits she went to jail numerous times and was even arrested for attempted murder. Kathy's suing her former friend today because she loaned her money to bail her niece out of jail, but she has yet to be repaid. Defendant Melita Ferguson says she thought Kathy was nice when she met her, but she turned out to be nothing but a con artist. Melita insists the terms of repayment were between Kathy and her niece, and she's countersuing because when she refused to repay her, Kathy threatened her.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Yes, sir, Judge, Your Honor. My name is Kathy Thurman, and most people there called me Fat Cat. Back when I first moved to Odessa, I've been on drugs and alcohol, and I did it for...
sounds like a street name.
Oh, yes, sir.
Fat
yes,
Cat.
sir. And I lived up to that street name because, I sold drugs for many years on the streets there. I sold crack so that I could get the drug of my choice, which was heroin.
How many years?
I did heroin for about 15, 20 years. And I did a good job at it because my mother always told me whatever you do the best at it. So I was always doing the best that I could at whatever I did.
I don't think she meant that.
She didn't mean that, but I graduated from high school when I was 16, and because my mother was so strict, I moved to Odessa, Texas. And from there, I got on the streets. I got hooked up with the wrong crowd, and I did any and everything that I thought I was bad enough to do. So I was in and out of jails. I've done a little bit of everything. Attempted murders, assaults, you name it. I've done that.
What does the attempted murder have to do with getting high? You don't have to run, Dora. You heard the woman say she's straight now. Go on back over there.
You know, Your Honor, I didn't know anything.
How you gonna protect me and you run? Go ahead.
When I finally hit bottom was back in 1995, February the 24th of 95, and I got sentenced to a substance abuse felony punishment facility. The judge wanted to give me, he told me with my case I could have gotten life, and my probation officer said that she had seen something in me, and she preferred that I take this new program that they had came up with.
What was the program?
It's called Safe Peace, Substance Abuse Felony Punishment Facility. It's rehab. It turned my life around because it made me look at me. I couldn't point the finger at Doyle or you or whomever. I had to point the finger at who the real problem was, which was me.
What do you mean? What are you using me and Doyle? We wasn't getting high with you.
No, but it was y'all's fault I was getting high.
How's it our fault you was getting high?
I didn't want it to be my fault.
Well, I got you. All right.
Anybody
Whoever
but me.
you saw, it was their fault.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So once I went there, I learned about the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. It was a 2-year program, 10 years probation. I think it's an exceptional program. It turned me alive.
Have you seen other offenders benefit from the program?
Well, I believe if you go and you get it like I did, you will gather it because you have to do things, and that is, once you get out, do your 90 meetings in 90 days. Go out and try to continue to help others. Go get that other suffering addict, alcoholic that's still out there. You know, you're supposed to give back. That's what I like about your program, is because you have given back the part that when you learned how to live your life.
You know, I'm glad you're pointing all this out because so many judges just sentence people, particularly drug addicts. 70–80% of those in prison are there because they've sold drugs or used drugs or committed a crime to get drugs. And in most instances, the judge just orders them a prison term with no conditions attached, such as go to rehab. And so they get out of prison or jail and they still have that urge to use drugs because they haven't had any type of drug rehabilitation while in prison, and they come right back out and do the same thing. And now we see state after state, they're cutting Medicare, they're cutting child care, and our tax dollars are going up because we have to fund prison. And I always use the example of myself. The 9 months I was incarcerated, incarcerated, it cost $50,000. Well, when I got out and went to college, for the entire 4 years that I went to undergrad, it only cost $24,000. And I had to borrow the money from the state, which came from taxpayers. $50,000 for 9 months, $24,000 for a bachelor's degree, which made me a pretty good taxpayer these days. Hopefully some judges or some corrections folks or some politicians understand that we're wasting taxpayers' dollars when we send these folks to prison and don't rehabilitate them, don't make them go to drug rehab, and they come right back out, knock us in the head again, and go right back in and come back out, knock us in the head to get their drugs. So it's more cost efficient to order these folks to go to rehab and to also help them get an education with our tax dollars. And so you're a perfect example of that. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. Now you're suing her about loans, so you've gotten so prosperous that you can loan money. So that's a good sign.
Not exactly.
Let me allow her to give some background on herself, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate her giving her testimony, more or less, because I consider her as a nice person. When I met her, I had no problems with her, but Kathy seemed to appear to me as a con artist, because the things that she was going to approach me with, that she was going to help me with, find out my niece was in jail. She visited with my niece. My niece offered to pay her back the money.
Let me allow her to tell me about the actual facts of the case, and then I'll let you respond because it's her lawsuit.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Now, what happened actually was that my son had called her, my adoptive son, which is her stepson, had called her, and so he brought me the phone and said, Granny, Mel wants to speak to you. I said, okay. So she said, girl, that must be a God thing, because I didn't know who I was going to get to try to help me get this girl out of jail. Who? Lisa's in jail. I said, she's still in jail? Yes. And she's pregnant and she's hurting. And I said, oh, my Lord, I know how it feels to ride there still, and I don't care how many mats they give you, that still is just, it hurts.
What was she in prison for?
Jail.
She went...
jail, I'm sorry, not prison,
She went to jail for... She told me that some other girl that was in the car with her had drugs in her car.
Of course.
And that when she came from across the street, the police got her, I guess, gathered because it was her car.
Of course.
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Of course, she didn't do anything, of course.
No,
Have you ever met
hers.
anybody, you were in prison for some time, have you ever met anybody who says that they're guilty of what they did?
No, sir.
Right.
No, sir.
Go ahead.
I did. No, sir.
Yeah, right. I just want folks to know that nobody in jail is guilty.
And so anyway, we went to the bonding company. The extent of the bond, which I have a copy of the bond here.
See it, please.
And
how much was the bond again?
$50,000 on one and another one for something else.
Mm-hmm. Did she agree to pay you?
Yes, she agreed to pay me. That's the only way I would have let her have my money. The defendant did, and I do have a copy of where the...
Is the bailee here? Is this... Okay, stand up. State your name.
My name is Lacey Wynn.
All right, how many times you been in jail?
I've been in jail several times, but for drugs, I've been incarcerated one time.
All right, and this time you didn't do it, did you?
No, it was someone else's, and I have to fight for that.
That's what I figure. I say it's nobody you ever met.
I admit to what I did do. You know
just
what I
say
mean?
you did. Oh, sitting in the car. Let me give you a good example. I have a very good friend, one of my very best friends, and he should know better. He has been incarcerated himself, but now he's a lawyer like myself. He turned his life around. But his brother has been in prison, went in and out of jail for 30 years for bank robbery. And so the last time he got out, he stayed with my buddy, his brother, and he was once again, within 3 months, arrested for bank robbery. But my buddy said, well, this time he didn't do it. I know he didn't do it this time. I say, well, how do you know? I just know. This one time, they just doing it because he has a history of bank robbery. This time he didn't do it. I said, well, where did they catch him? Well, he was going to the bank. He was just going to the bank. That's why they caught him. I said, and why else did they think he did it? There had to be something. He said, well, he had this spray on his hand. The spray that you get when you take the money out of the bank. Yeah, the dye that you get on your... But he didn't do it. He just had the dye pride that you get when you steal the money and walk out. But this time, he didn't do it. And you don't believe she did it this time either, do you?
I don't.
See? She just did the same thing several other times, but on this occasion, didn't do it. All right. Tell me your scenario about how it occurred.
I never have agreed to pay her any money because she never put any money in my hands. She offered to help my niece get out of jail, and they made their arrangements. From then on, we left the jail. We went back to the bonding place. She arranged with the bonding people.
Ma'am?
Your Honor.
It's on your burden. You have to prove that she agreed to repay you.
Okay, when we were at the bonding company, she says, Kat, I make this kind of money. And I said, well, Mel, you know, I don't mind helping you. You've always been there for me. And so
that's the niece who was in, that was the niece.
No, that was Melanie. The niece said, oh, I'll help you. I'm going to get your money back.
Okay,
you know,
so she agreed to pay you also.
Yeah, they both agreed to pay me.
So why aren't you suing her as well?
I loaned my money to Melody. I was not dealing with the niece.
Yes, you did. You also loaned it to her, particularly when she said, I will pay you back. Go ahead.
When I called my aunt from jail, I told my aunt, if you can't get me out, I'm okay. Just put me a little money, whatever. I ended up going to court and I got my bond. When I called her again, she said, Fat Cat.
Bailed you out.
Yeah, she's offering to bail me out, but I'm bringing her up there to visit you. I told her when she came to visit me, before I got out, that I was going to pay her.
She never told you that she would pay her.
She's never
You never heard that come from her.
That is never. She would. Why would she? And she gave me the money.
Did you tell her when you would pay her?
No, sir. We never talked about it. I just told her I will pay you back.
And she said what?
Okay.
Ma'am, did you say that?
No, she didn't even tell me that.
You just told me she did.
She said that she would pay me back, but she didn't say 2 weeks.
You just told me she did tell you.
She offered to pay, but
now
she wasn't working.
Now you're saying she did. And a minute, just 5 seconds ago, you say she didn't ever tell you she'd pay you. Ma'am, do you have any evidence that she agreed to pay you or has paid you anything?
She paid me, Melody paid me $100
Is
the
that
weekend.
true?
I give her $100.
Why?
Because she told me she needed a room she had moved, and this was a couple of days after she got out.
Because she needed a room?
Yeah, she was staying with her daughter. She moved.
So you're saying she gave all her money to the niece, and 2 days later didn't even have money to live somewhere?
This is what she's telling me.
Okay, your counterclaim for harassment, $5,000 is for what?
Because harassment, she constantly called me. I don't know if you're familiar with Juneteenth. I had a booth. She come on the park, telling me, when are y'all gonna pay my money? I need my money, or else, you know. And I'm like, and she kept calling me. She said, why you haven't returned my call? I said, but first of all, I don't take no threats. I don't owe you no money.
When has she threatened you? After her being released?
After she was out of jail, probably
How many days?
Maybe about 3 or 4 days.
All right, and this is before or after you gave her the $100?
This is before.
Before you gave her the $100, she threatened you.
No, she threatened me after. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
Okay, she threatened you afterwards.
Yes.
You didn't say, I gave you $100.
No, I didn't.
Why?
Because when I give it to
I have to determine based on evidence, and if there's not enough evidence, I have to base it on testimony. Okay. In this case, ma'am, you gave her $100 within 2 days, 2 or 3 days of the witness being released from jail.
Right.
Based on that, I'm going to presume that that $100 was toward a loan. Your counterclaim for harassment is dismissed unless you have a police report that you called the police based on these threats.
I don't.
Because you're only awarded a judgment when you really feel that there's a threat. And when you really feel there's a threat, you call the police. And ma'am, I'm not going to grant you any emotional distress either. You've been around enough that when you get crossed, you don't go crazy on it. Now, so you paid how much? 13.15 plus 30 is 13.45. That's your judgment. Your claim is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hallelujah. That's all I want, my money. Her niece said that I have and I don't have them sold, and do y'all know where any crackheads is at?
Wow.
I came to the house and you did that.
you told me I
said
need to
that.
hustle hard and get on it. That's what you said, chick.
Well.
She said, you said you need to hustle hard and get it, because that's
'Cause
what
I
you
need
did.
my money.
You know, that's what you told me you did to get that money to get me out of jail.
No, baby, I
chick.
got proof where I got my money from. Chick.
Well, yeah, from
I
your
got
Lord tabs, chick. What's
$2,000.
up? From your Lord
what's
tabs,
up?
chick, you better get it.
I believe she on something. She's on
She
something.
on
'cause
Lord
she ain't
tabs,
acting
man.
this
She
up.
do what she do. You don't gotta tell no lie
I
like
know
that,
she
fat
done-
cat
I
chick.
know she sell
You don't
pills.
gotta
I
tell
heard
no
she
lie
sell
like
pills.
that,
You
chick.
heard.
You know
'Cause
me
you
better
don't
than
know
that.
that. Stop lying on me.